Welcome to the Downtown, brought to you by Arlington Citizen Media. I am Daryl Smith Jr., and across the internet from me is...
I am Rodie John, and to the right of me is...
Amy!
On today's show, we will talk to Randy Bernard, the CEO of the American Rodeo, which will be at the AT&T Stadium from March 6th through the 7th, on how it started, what to expect, and a little bit about Garth Brooks.
Next, we talk to Brandon McLaughlin about what brought him to music, playing collegiate football, and how his life has influenced his art.
So, man, it's been a week.
Yeah.
It's been a week.
So, I guess, go around. How's everyone's houses doing? How's everyone's lives doing?
Yeah, start. What happened?
This house is old. That I live in has a history of losing power. So on Monday when I woke up and there was no power at like 6, I was like, And then I checked my cameras and I was like, oh, it's been out intermittently. And then I had downloaded that the electrical grid app to like see where it was, because we were supposed to be conserving energy on Sunday because it was supposed to be really crazy, and that was an understatement. So I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, there's no power being generated in the state of Texas. This is terrible. Encore can't tell me when my power is going to be back. And I just was like, I gotta go. I can't stay here. I gotta go. I gotta get my family out of this house. And we ended up booking a hotel very quickly. And then we got out. We went to Live by Lowe's, actually, because it's like down the street from our house. We literally had to just drive down Randall Mill, and we were there, which came in handy because my father-in-law also lost power in North Richland Hills, and he had a fireplace for a while, but he ran out of wood. So, we were like, well, come on, we have a place to stay. Come on and come out, and he did. So it was like a multi-generational sleepover. And I know that sounds incredibly privileged compared to what other people went through. But I did actually walk back to my house on Saturday or on Tuesday, because I was like, this is the biggest investment of my life. I need to make sure the pipes haven't burst. Mm-hmm. And if they have, I need to shut off the water. So I walked the mile in the snow, which was crazy. And then, I came back and it was 36 degrees because the power happened to pop back on right as I walked in.
Oh, nice.
So it was 36 degrees in my house. It was wild. I didn't have near the experience that a lot of people have. Your power was out longer than my power was out. And I didn't, no pipes burst, thankfully. We did lose water at a certain point, but a lot of people in Arlington did. So, it was trying. It was a hard time. And it wasn't even that hard for me, but just all the circumstances that failed us with so many levels was just devastating to so many people.
Yeah, Rodie, how about your experience?
So the power went off here around the same time Monday morning, and I stayed here. It didn't come back on until Sunday afternoon, which they had to change the transformer in the backyard. So that was fun. Luckily, our friend, the Comptons, they allowed me to stay in their home for 2 nights, which was very nice because it was just amazing how many different parts of Arlington didn't lose power or water or anything. So, but the water was fine here. I thought the kitchen was frozen, but it was fine. Ended up being okay, obviously. But yeah, I was lucky that no pipes were bust, nothing was damaged other than the food prep and everything that was in the fridge.
Yeah, all that food prep.
I know, so much work down there.
I know.
It's okay. But again, I felt very honored and not honored. Oh, that's a terrible word. I felt lucky that I like that. So, Amy?
Well, we were in Benbrook. I was staying with my boyfriend, and no power was lost and no water was lost. We had a boil water notice for about 4 days, but that wasn't a big deal. So we were extremely lucky. And of course, we offered anybody that needed to come to our place, but it's so far and the roads were so bad that it would be such a risk for anybody to come out there. But of course, if they needed to, we would have had them. We basically spent an entire week indoors except for sledding.
Right.
So my daughter got to experience sledding for the first time. And she was very happy about the snow, and I imagine she wouldn't have been as happy if she didn't have power or water.
Yeah.
So she had a good time, and I'm thankful for that. But I know that so many families still are struggling with this. And but I do know that there's lots of advocacy happening now that the thaw has happened, and there's food available and water distribution sites. We've shared that on our Arlington Citizen Media, social media. So, yeah, please check that out.
Yeah.
Well, and
Dr. Jekyll's, that was a warming station. So
that's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, what I found really heartening was all these people opening spaces to have people, be warm. Like Mark at Create Arlington, when he had power, was like, come on down, charge your phones, like you can get warm in here. And then they lost power again. But the fact that they did it when they had it, and Dr. Jekyll's did it, like the Arlington Realtor Board or something, some sort of organization for realtors, they like literally opened their office and they were like, if you need to stay overnight, you can stay overnight. Yeah. So like just the groundswell of like local support and on that level, and then also friend to friend, just like, what you guys are talking about. You offered, people to come stay. You actually did go stay with someone. It was just in the chaos of all of this, it was nice to be able to like see those heartwarming stories.
Right. Okay. Well, we have another big announcement. Something really cool. Rodie, your backstage your announcement.
Yeah. You started your pro wrestling career. Yeah. I mean, come on.
I was like, what's happening? I was lucky to work backstage before the storm, at the Pele Pro Wrestling Show at Legal Draft. It was literally a childhood dream just to be backstage at a wrestling event, no matter what size. So it was absolutely incredible.
Did you shake everyone's hand?
That was the thing I will definitely do next. It was everyone was giving knuckle bumps.
Okay, well that's fair. As long as you're, COVID, I get it. But as long as you were like given that respect,
for sure.
like,
yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Good.
Which I was standing there before it all happened, and the guys, as they're coming in, were doing all that. I was like, oh yeah, that's part of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I almost forgot I gotta do that.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So in pro wrestling, there is a unwritten rule in the unwritten rule book somewhere. You have to go around, no matter who you are, go around and shake everyone's hand. So obviously we're in the time of COVID where handshakes aren't available everywhere. So knuckle bumps it is, and it was fantastic. I was like, Pele Pro. They were at Legal Draft. While they are working on, I believe they're going to still try to do Legal Draft. However, Legal Draft, where they do have the ring now, they're going to add more tanks. So we might have to be an outside show. But also, the owner's wife is about to have a baby, so they might not have to go until May or June, which in Texas outside is not the best.
No, not even at night.
Be able to do so, yeah.
Although it would be cool to do it at night.
Yeah.
Maybe just talk to our friends. See if we can do a night wrestling show.
Well, we're trying to figure out other places. Mavericks is too small. Diamond Gyms is potential. He's looking at other places though.
Veterans Park, man, right in the park. Boom.
That would be amazing.
It could.
They have that pavilion there.
That's true. Oh, but the sun's setting on there. I don't know how well that would.
That is true. Well, it looked like WrestleMania in 31.
Yeah.
Where everyone was like, "What's going on here?"
Someone wants to be here.
Cool. Yeah. So, anything else, guys? I know that we're in the governor has declared a national, emergency, state of emergency. Yeah.
I think we've got some federal disaster too. I mean, it was like a legit weather event that happened to not just us, like to lots of the state of Texas, like that's the thing, the scope of it was so like big. Like it's not just hurting people in Arlington, but it's hurting people in Dallas and Houston and Austin, and it's just really, it was big.
Yeah, Biden will be in Houston, I believe, this week. So, and if anybody needs FEMA help, check them out.
There's also the city website has some good links and numbers to call for assistance as well. So, if you need the help, definitely reach out and make it happen.
Send us a message. If we can help, we will. We can maybe direct you into the right place. So please send us a message.
Yeah, if you're a small business or anything that you want to tell your story, please reach out to us, talk to us, and then, we would love to talk to you about it. And if we can help, it'd be great. If we can have you on the pod, even better. I'm here with Randy Bernard, the CEO of the American Rodeo, which will be here at AT&T Stadium on March 6th through 7th. How are you today, sir?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm great. So, like I said, the American Rodeo will be here in Arlington at AT&T Stadium on March 6th and 7th. This is the annual tradition that's considered the richest weekend in Western sports. The 11-day experience has events happening not only in Arlington, but also in our sister city, Fort Worth, where the finals, however, will be here in Arlington, Texas. What can people look forward to in this time?
Well, first of all, on a COVID year, I think there's so many rodeos that have canceled this year. Unfortunately, Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo canceled. Houston Livestock and Rodeo just canceled. So there's some of the biggest rodeos in the country have opted out just due to the COVID. Mm-hmm. And we decided that it was really important for us to move forward. First of all, for the athletes. I mean, we're talking about the very best cowboys and cowgirls in the world that compete at this, and it's at AT&T Stadium. So we had a little bit of a lead room where they're going to allow us to sell about 17,000 tickets a night. Back to your question though, what can a fan expect? Just the best in the world. And I think what separates the American from any other rodeo in the world, first and foremost, is you're guaranteed to see the very, very best cowboys in the world. They're invited, and none of them turn it down. It's $2 million prize money for basically the one-day event on Sunday, which is the finals on March 7th. But what we do is we invite the top 10 in the world. They come and get to compete, guaranteed. They're going to be competing. And then we say, hey, anyone else out in the world think you can beat the best in the world? If you can, come do it. And if you do it, we're going to write you a check for $1 million.
Wow.
And every single year since our beginning, 8 years, we've paid out that $1 million. And what it does really for the sport, in my opinion, is in the past, it's always been about, there's only one other rodeo that can guarantee the greatest cowboys in the world, and that's the National Finals Rodeo that was actually in Arlington this year.
Right. It was at Globe Field. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But the fans get to see the best in the world, but then there's the underdog, and everybody wants to root for that underdog because it's like the David and Goliath story. It's like, how can you beat the best in the world? These guys do it every single day.
Yeah.
And some way, someone always does it in one event. And I heard a couple days ago we have a 7-year-old that made it in the barrel racing this year. I mean, that's crazy. Now, they still have a long road to go because of all the semifinals that we have in Fort Worth, that 7 days leading up, 8 days leading up to the American. But we've had some amazing, amazing contestants. We had a 73-year-old June Holman compete and make it all the way to the finals. And I mean, talk about make it exciting for every grandma in America. I mean, it was really fun. And I think that's what makes this thing stand out. And I like to say it's where dreams come true because somebody's going to walk away with over $1 million that day. And it's a life-changing event.
Right. So like you said, there's events all the way from barrel racing to roping to bull riding. You've had experience in the past as you were the CEO of the pro bull riding circuit. And so for a fact that there are in these amazing, not untapped, but, kind of untapped because they could be the best in their area. They just don't know how to get to the next level. And the fact that you have this open challenge really for everyone to come to one area is absolutely amazing. And how did you actually come up with this idea? Because you had obviously been with the pro bull riding before, and then you wanted to do this. How did the whole idea even come together?
Well, probably around 14 years ago, 15 years ago, Jerry Jones and I were at his old practice facility, and he told me, he says, I'd like to have I was still at the Professional Bull Riders at the time. Mm-hmm. He goes, I'd like to have a PBR event. And I said, let's do it. And he goes, would you like to wait a couple of years? We're going to be building a new stadium, or you want to have it in our current stadium? I said, let's wait. I said, I'd prefer being one of the first events in your new stadium than being in this one. So that's what we did. After it happened, he loved it. He goes, listen, I want a rodeo now. And I'm with the PBR. I can't give you a rodeo. And then when I was at IndyCar, they had in Indianapolis, they had a team owners meeting in Indianapolis that year. The Super Bowl was going to be there. And him and I went to dinner one night, and he still wanted that rodeo. I couldn't do it with IndyCar. And then after I left IndyCar, I was with RFD TV, and I called him and said, I have this amazing idea. I said it would be one of the biggest rodeos in the world, which that was very important to him. He said, I don't want to do anything that's half-assed. I want to make sure it's done very, very well. Right. And I said, listen, Houston Rodeo puts up $1.8 million for a 20-day event. I said, my goal is to put $2 million up for a one-day event. He goes, I love your thinking. Let's do it. And that's how it happened. And it's just been I've produced over 4,000 sporting events in my life. And it's by far my favorite event I've ever produced, ever. And it's just the energy. I mean, and at IndyCar, I was there for 3 Indy 500s, and there's just the energy at this is just so amazing, and it's so fun to watch someone life change every year.
Right. I mean, like you said, with the IndyCar, you more or less know who's going to win going into it, just the way that the rest of the season's gone and the way everyone's been driving and everything together. But with this, you literally, like you said, you can have an underdog come up and then all of a sudden just surprise everybody and walk away with all this money. And not only the money, but just the bragging rights as well.
So much. But yet there's also the trial and tribulations on the other side. Right. We've seen a woman hit a barrel that cost her $1 million. And it's just like the amount of nerves that these guys, I mean, most cowboys, if you're competing for a one-day event, if you win $20,000, that's a major rodeo. Yeah. But to think that for a one-day event, it's going to pay $1 million, when you ride in the box or when you nod your head for that bull or that horse, and know that it's a life-changing event, the amount of pressure that puts on you, it really drives a side of you that most people have never seen before. Right. And I think that adds to the drama and the excitement of this event.
I believe so too. It's finding that extra level that you didn't know you had in yourself and bringing it out for the big event.
It's so true. I mean, and it just makes for great television.
Of course.
It makes for a great live event. And we don't skimp. I mean, Jerry Jones made it very clear to us that he wanted a first-class event. I mean, just on the sound system alone, we spent $150,000. It's very important for us. If you're sitting in those stands, I don't want you to go home dusty. I don't want you to go home not thinking that you just didn't get your money's worth. So everything we do is top notch, and it's a world-class event.
That's amazing. Yeah, I was there for the PBR this year because obviously they didn't have it in Vegas. They had it here at AT&T Stadium, and it was amazing. I'd never been to I've been to some rodeos out in Fort Worth, but I'd never been to a pro bull riding of that level, and I was actually blown away by the entire thing. And I didn't think about the actual level of athleticism that these guys are at, but they're dealing with a very unpredictable bull. You don't know how the temperament of that bull for that day or even that moment, and they got to ride it out for at least 8 seconds, and it's absolutely amazing to watch.
Yeah, I think that the rodeo and bull riding athlete is so underestimated on their physiques and how much work they have to do to get where they're at. I mean, some of these bull riders are doing 2,000 sit-ups in a session.
Right.
The core is so important to them, and they're a lot like comparable to a UFC fighter. I think UFC fighters have to deal with pain and tolerance every single day, and so do these bull riders.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I'm a big MMA UFC fan, so the fact that just the training alone that those guys have to do is probably next level. Like I could imagine a Cowboy Cerrone even riding some bulls, just not because of the name he's a cowboy, but just the way how tough that guy is.
Yeah, well, he's been to several events of the PBR, and I know.
Yeah.
And, you're right. I mean, that's exactly true.
Yeah. So they are having fans here at AT&T Stadium for the event. They're also having fans at the Cowtown Coliseum out in Fort Worth. They're doing tickets in 2s, 4s, and 6 pods. How important was it to make sure people were here for the rodeo and also clearly to be safe in this COVID situation?
Well, and that's first and foremost. We went to the administration of AT&T Stadium and wanted to know the parameters that the health inspectors were going to give us and make sure that we could do this in a very healthy, conscious effort to make it very safe. And clearly, we believe we can do it. We've seen the World Series. We've seen the National Finals Rodeo. We've seen so many events now that have taken place in Texas. And so it's exciting for us. I mean, the pods keep everybody separated. I mean, that, how big that stadium is, like 90,000, 95,000 people, and only allowing basically 17,000 in there gives everybody plenty of distance. And it's a great way to see an event if you don't like crowds, because I mean, because you're going to get to see it. It's going to be easy to get in. And like I said, we're going to be following all the rules and regulations and making sure we make it as safe for every patron that we can.
That's you have to do that. And I'm sure that the not only the athletes themselves are feeding off what the crowd's giving them as well. Cause you're going to have family, you're going to have friends come out and cheer you on. And then I'm sure there's fans that are also been following these people from the beginning, and they're going to keep cheering them on as well.
Exactly. And, that's the great thing about rodeo. There's so many fans in the state of Texas for the sport. And, it's just, I see it, the growth in Texas is just getting bigger and better all the time for the sport. And I think that's exciting. And I think, look how Western your Fort Worth area is. I mean, all the booming success that the development is having down in the stockyards with Ed Roski and Craig Cavalier taking that and blowing that up. Right. I just think that the sport is growing, and it's growing nationally, but I think even more so in the state of Texas.
Oh, I believe so too. I mean, the stockyards are always just a fun place to go out to, even if you're not a fan of rodeo or cowboys in general. Just the way that it still kind of looks like old Fort Worth I think it's absolutely beautiful.
And there's a great vibe there. I just love the vibe they've created there. Yeah. How they made it new, yet it's so cool and still has the tradition and heritage of the old look. But it's been fun. I've been down there several times since they've been redeveloping it, and it's what a amazing thing they've done down there.
Yeah, I was down at Billy Bob's for a local MMA fight last week. Every time I go into Billy Bob's, I forget how big it is. It's just it's so massive.
It is huge.
Yeah. So you have been the CEO for Pro Bull Riding and IndyCar, as we mentioned, before you stepped foot with the American Rodeo. What do you feel your impact was on both those companies?
Well, I never like to think of impact what I've done. I think that you have great, amazing people around you, and that it's definitely a team effort of everything we've done. I think what I try to do more than anything is listen to what the fan base wants and deliver upon and grow the fan base by delivering what they want. And I think in both instances, there was success made on those fronts. I think that for the most part, though, I think I'm a big believer that there's a reason why your windshield's bigger than your rearview mirror. So I don't like to look back. I like to look forward and continue moving forward. And I mean, I still love the PBR. I still love IndyCar. I'm still close to both of them. But at the same time, I know where my head is right now, and is on what I can do to further the sport and continue to grow it. And that's what makes me get up every morning loving it. And also managing Garth now has just been an amazing job. It's not a job. It's the most fun thing I've ever done in my life. I absolutely think the world of Garth Brooks.
Yeah. I noticed, or I had read that you were co-managing with Garth now. I haven't had a chance to watch his documentary, but I've heard so many good things. And I did get to see him the first night he was here at American Airlines Center. He has got so much energy.
Oh my God. If I'm not mistaken, he might have been losing his voice on that first night.
Was he?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was. Gosh, I mean, he did. I think 400 shows in 4 years. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. He. But we love. I mean, gosh, anytime you're in Texas, the crowds were just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere it was amazing. He sold over 4 shows every city we went to. But the fans in Texas were so loud. It was really fun.
Yeah. He put on a great show, which made me wonder what it would have been like to see him in the early 90s when he was playing like, Texas Stadium when it was here and just absolutely blowing it up the way he was.
Yeah, and I think, that he's doing a stadium tour right now, and it's so exciting to see how much energy he brings to that. I mean, he has to lift his game because, I mean, when you do a stadium, and the thing about Garth is that he wants whether you're sitting in the last row in the stadium or in the front row in the stadium, he wants everybody to have the same experience. And you say that's impossible. I've had so many people that have been way up high that said, my God, I felt like he was looking at me. It's just, he has such a great presence. I mean, he is the GOAT when it comes to entertainers. I mean, there's no one that can entertain like him. He's just amazing.
Yeah, I always wonder what his obviously you have to train to go on tour. I'm curious what his cardio is even like because of the fact that he didn't seem winded throughout 2 hours at least straight. Like
and on that tour, he was doing 2 shows a day.
Yeah,
he was doing a 7 and then a 10 or 10:30, and I could tell you what his cardio is. I mean, probably that day of that event, we probably played basketball for 2 hours before both of those events. I don't know how he does it. I mean, he's an Energizer bunny. I mean, that guy can go and go and go. And even like, last night we played for basketball 2 hours. We try to run between 4 and 5 miles 3 nights a week. And
wow.
He's a go-getter. He has a lot of energy.
I mean, it comes off that way too. So with the American Rodeo, is there an event you look forward to the most every year or just kind of the whole spectrum?
The semifinals are really fun and amazing because people don't realize, we pay $500,000 at the semifinals minimum, which puts us in the top 15 rodeos in all of the United States, held at the Cowtown Coliseum there, which when you think about it, that only seats 2,500. Yeah. So there's not a bad seat in that place. That place is it's so tight, so fun. And in my opinion, it's the most underestimated rodeo in the world because you're getting to see the best cowboys and cowgirls in the world that compete and try to make it to the big event. But there's nothing like the Sunday performance of the American. In my opinion, that performance is where the $2 million is paid out, and you're going to see someone walk away with $1 million, crying at the end like some tough cowboy that's not going to cry, and all of a sudden he's just up there, just can't believe how much it's changed his life, and he's not even, just in that same day. So to me, there's nothing like the final performance on March 7th at the American.
That's amazing. So we have a segment on the show called Tournament of Toppings. We're trying to find the best pizza place in Arlington or wherever you are. What's your favorite pizza place?
I wish Garth could answer that. He's the biggest pizza connoisseur in the world.
Oh, okay, good. Well, next time he's in town, let us know. We'll take him around to some great pizza places.
Oh my God! I'll give you one quick story. Okay. One time I was getting on his plane, and I asked I go, Dave, you got any pizza on this plane? He looks at me funny. He goes, Randy, we put more pizza on this plane than fuel. So,
what kind of pizza does Garth eat? Is he a pineapple on the pizza kind of guy, or does he think that's an abomination?
Oh, which one?
Pineapple on the pizza.
Oh my God, they eat it every which way. I mean, they change up all the time. They love it. I mean, he loves a good pepperoni pizza. He likes the combo. He likes about everything, anything and everything when it comes to pizza. But I'm trying to think of the one that I think it's called Jets here in Nashville, something like that. We've been eating quite a bit lately, and I mean, I'm not as big a pizza guy as I eat a lot of pizza because of them. So I love Papa John's myself.
Papa John's isn't bad. The new stuffed crust isn't terrible. I wish they keep that cheeseburger pizza around all the time just because it's so good.
Oh, yeah. They've got some good ones.
Yeah, but they've now made it their McRib where it only comes back every once in a while, and then you get excited for it.
So you're a connoisseur. It sounds like you're the connoisseur of pizza.
I do love me some pizza. I'm a thick boy, so I do love me some pizza. But I love food in general. I'm not gonna, wings, pizza, doesn't really matter. I'll eat it. So if people wanted to follow you on social media and also get tickets to the American Rodeo, where can they do so?
Well, SeatGeek, if you want to buy tickets for the American Rodeo, is the easiest.
There you go.
Or you could go on Instagram to RFD TV The American if you want to follow us. And yeah, that's pretty much the best way to follow the American. And it's like I said, it won't let any fans down or anyone that wants to come for the first time. I think they'll be blown away with the value of their ticket.
I can't wait to check it out when it comes to AT&T Stadium, March 6th through 7th, and then also in our sister city in Fort Worth out the 10 days before that, or 8 days before that. Randy, I appreciate your time, and I look forward to maybe sharing a slice of Zog with you sometime.
Hey, John, let's do that. Let's get together, have a piece of pizza and a beer.
I love it.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
We are here with local musician Brandon McLaughlin. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing just fine.
We were geeking out on
Brandon
studio,
has a Fort Worth Sound shirt on, and we were geeking out a little bit about Fort Worth Sound, really great studio in Fort Worth. But if you're a local musician, it's one of the studios I would recommend. I would recommend the Cove, obviously, in Arlington.
Yeah, we were geeking out on the Cove a little bit.
And that's where you said you recorded your album, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll get into that in a little bit. Well, you actually have a question about that.
Well, let's start with, so who is Brandon McLaughlin and what got you into music?
Okay, so honestly, just where to start, it's kind of, I'm from Southwest Fort Worth, but more specifically Crowley, Texas.
Okay. Yeah.
I went to North Crowley High School, which is right on the border of Crowley and Fort Worth, so I've always had a hard time deciding what to say. But it's that general area, and I moved to Arlington more recently in 2015 because I worked at the General Motors plant right off of 360 out there, and I had to be way closer. So I was basically an athlete growing up and just played a lot of sports and stuff. And I was in a musical family. I mean, enthusiastically speaking.
Yeah.
But, not a lot of people in my family immediately played instruments or my older sister's a singer, but I always had a passion for it. And, for the most part, I was always just it was a thought in the back of my head that, someday I want to pursue this just as a hobby or something, at the very least. And then when I started, I played college sports, and after that ended, I needed something else to
do.
To put all my passion into. And besides, I just started working. I actually dropped out of school when I was in my early 20s, and then just kind of was looking for a new direction. So I decided 2013, I started working at the plant out there. I was really going to start taking, nothing for granted, and every day I was going to try to just do what my heart was speaking to me, which was find my musical voice and my path and my journey.
What did you play in college?
I played football.
Okay.
I played at a Division III school right out of high school for my freshman and sophomore year. And then I transferred to Fort Worth and went to TCU and walked on out there.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Just for a year, though. So it was I walked on and then I walked right off. But it was great. And then it was my undoing that I was removed from the team for violating team policy. I'll just be honest, smoking pot.
Sure.
Failed the drug
Considering
test.
everything else that was going on the TCU football team, I think that's fine. At least you weren't selling and doing all the other stuff.
It was some fast times, but it was some good times, honestly. And a lot of the ideas and feelings that I was coming up with for the music that I ended up writing later on came from those days and those times, those visions of the people and places I was with, and that's where a lot of it started when I was really trying to find where to begin writing and telling my story to people in a musical way. So,
well, speaking of that, and kind of circling back to the beginning of your process, who were some of your musical influences?
Gosh, from when I was really young, I was really into like, just whatever was playing on the radio at the time. It was like Michael Jackson and Prince, and my parents. We would drive. We had family in Amarillo, but my mom's family was in Fort Worth, so we would drive. We lived here around my mom's side of the family, and then we would drive to my dad's side of the family in Amarillo, and we would listen on the road 287. It's like a 6-hour drive, and we listened to the radio just in CDs. And my parents were big Eagles fans, and, George Strait and that kind of stuff. And I just became really like infatuated with vocals and just the different tonal textures of characteristics of each genre and stuff like that. I noticed that first, and
especially if the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles were just, it was layered with vocal harmonies, and
who would have thought a drummer is also going to sing for you?
Well, but everyone sang in that band.
At some point or another, they all contributed, especially the vocal. I mean, you had I mean, and as I got older, I understood it more. Like, it's the instrumentation I also loved to listen to that was great about it. I can specifically remember there was a Charlie Daniels tape that I had when I used to have like a little Walkman.
Yeah, I had it too.
And I would listen to The Devil Went Down to Georgia just over and over again, just thinking like, that is so cool, like how he's making those sounds.
Bam, 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 right? Like with the fiddle and like
Hey, the devil beat Johnny on he had the better solo. I believe. I firmly.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Ray Wiley Hubbard said it in his song, but he's right. That was absolutely so true statement to say, honestly.
So, what was the creative process behind your EP, your self-titled EP?
Yeah, so just going back to where I began in college, when I was trying to explain myself, I just started with I wanted to capture a time of my life that I could look back and realize, or not just me, but the viewer, the listener, the audience can see it, and it would be just like a photograph, but a snapshot exactly of who I was, the kind of person I was, what I learned at that time, and then where I was going, the direction you could hear that I was influenced by, but I was also trying to head in another direction. And I started there just trying to keep it simple. I didn't want to, being a new artist, I didn't want to like fill my EP with a bunch of different songs that all had different flavors. I try to keep it to the general, a very straightforward way. And I was very fueled by the Texas country music of the past era, from when I first got into the scene, and what I feel like it's going today, and how I am influenced by all those things that combined.
Yeah. So you recorded at Fort Worth Sound. Bart Rose is probably one of the better producers, I think, for that kind of.
Yes.
Bart started as like a young kid, basically, doing like punk rock and like stuff like that, and has become kind of a preeminent like Texas country engineer. What was it like to work with him?
Oh, it was great. He was. I loved working with him because, like I said, I love the instrumentation and things like that, natural instrumentation on, and we were real geeks about it. Especially guitar. He has like a wall full of just on top and bottom, it's just loaded of different types of guitars. And as we were tracking and doing those kinds of things, it just became like a pick and choose. What kind of flavor are you hearing for this? Do you hear something like this on top of it? And we would just toss around ideas until, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that. And it was the most fun thing. Like, it was. I wish like that was my everyday job to be able to work like that.
Right.
So it was it was very smooth, and I was really pleased working with him. I didn't want to leave. Honestly, there were times in between songs we were working that I was just like picking around on my guitar, and we were just saying like, he said some things like, what else you got? He was like, we were excited to continue to work in the future, and he was great, honestly. And I don't think at this point right now I haven't, I'm sticking with him when I would put something else out there. He's done a great job.
Yeah. He recorded my buddy's EP, and what you're saying is almost verbatim what he said 5 years ago when he recorded his EP. Like there was just a collaborative, like sort of organic energy there that he appreciated, and it sounds like you apprecited it too, and really vibed on it pretty much. Right. Yeah.
It was a lot about the hang, and they call it the hang, like as like bands, it's great to get together and try to like make all this magic happen, especially when you're just complete strangers that you haven't really, done a whole lot of pre-production things on it when you don't. But he was a real professional in the sense of, he can get in a room and relate to what you're trying to get across and say, and make it fun. Right. Yeah, really.
I mean, that's what it should be, because that's what you get. You get that sound out of it, as opposed to
you'll
just
feel
forced.
it. You'll feel it like in the music if you have that kind of working environment.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And I mean, the room itself, he picked a great place to put it, because it just, you could talk in there, and it just talking in the room, especially the main
the tracking room.
Yeah, you walk in there and it's got just great acoustics, so it's impressive.
I've been. It's very nice.
Yeah. I was just looking at photos, and it looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. So, as a new and up-and-coming artist, what's it like trying to promote yourself during COVID?
It's actually very, very difficult, I would say. And when I was in the studio with, we hired his session guys. He calls them. It was in Fort Worth Sound Studio A, so they call it the A team.
Okay.
And it's like some of their best guys that come in and they work together, and they're very familiar with the process. And basically, gosh, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked on that. Between all of them together, what was the question?
How's it like promoting yourself during COVID?
Yeah, that's right. That Brendan Gilman, who is the guitarist on it, he told me, he goes, honestly, man, it's it's kind of there's a lot of business, there's a lot of stuff out there, like if you're already in the field, but as a brand new artist and things like that, it can be like not the best time to be jumping into,
right?
Because all of them were very like chomping at the bit to get back to work, because everyone had been in lockdown for. I recorded it I think it was late April was the first weekend, and then we did one weekend at the beginning of May. Just I had to come back and we touched up.
Still
on some
early
stuff like that.
in the COVID thing.
Very
still
early.
trying to figure it out. What it
that
is.
was
what
like
you
when
can
it
do,
was
can't
really
do.
locked down.
We were very secretive about it. I didn't post about it or tell a whole lot of folks.
Yeah, you can't, because you're getting a lot of backlash, and people just.
And it took a lot of patience and like hush, had to really keep it all on the down low, and I was very eager to like let the world know what's going on.
Well, because you're sitting on this thing you've been working on, and you're like, I gotta tell everybody, and you're like, damn, I can't tell anybody.
Yes, and but during the time, like they told me that, and I was when they were like, it's not the best time to be cracking into it right this second. I mean, I'll give it 6 months or a year, who knows? But I was like, great, that's perfectly what I want to hear.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough out there for everyone. I mean, we talk to a lot of musicians, and it's it's hard when you can't go out and meet people, and you can't go out and do the things that you normally do as a musician. To better your music and your career and what you're trying to accomplish. It's tough.
It's tough. You have to find new ways to, like corner them, like do what you're trying to do, but in an adaptive way. It can't be, the same old way. When I was younger, I would going to concerts and stuff like that. It was, kind of old school how everything was done. People were, I think back in Fort Worth in like the early 2000s, you could go and busk on a street corner or something like that, but they put up city ordinances since then, and it makes it much harder. So by the time I came around and started to like really get confident to want to go play for people, and there was a lot of places that you can't do that because they consider it like loitering or panhandling or things like that. And I was listening to one of y'all's shows, Flash Newman.
Yeah.
Had him. Oh, he was great.
Yeah, he was. I love Flash.
I love listening to his story and everything.
Yeah, that was extremely.
Yeah, I mean that's the good thing about Arlington is we don't have an ordinance against busking.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I found that really interesting because I've done it like a couple times outside Cowboy Stadium because I've seen people do it outside of games and things like that, and I could blend in much easier.
Right.
And
yeah, I don't think you can get in trouble for it. Not here.
No, the cops and police were. They had other things they were worrying about.
We're worried about the 20,000 people over here at the stadium.
People really, for the most part, enjoy it. They like the festiveness. They're coming to downtown Arlington to a lot of people, like especially the people who were very generous to me to give me, most of the tips. I guess it was the corner I was on. I don't know, but it was out of town fans, and it was I guess people who were visiting excited to be there. And they were just like, "Man, you sound great." I was like, "Great, hey, cool."
Yeah, that is cool. I'm glad that you got to do that and got to experience Arlington's. I guess we talk kind of a little bit about the tour because Arlington is kind of a tale of a couple of different cities put together. Like we have the stadiums, we have downtown, but we also have a bunch of neighborhoods and like it's really family place too.
Yeah,
it's very big. It's so spread out.
It is very spread out, but it is nice. I think that you had like out of town people coming to the stadiums and then also appreciating what you were doing. Like I think that's one of the things I love about Arlington is that you have all these different elements, and somehow we put them together, and we're trying to make it work.
Yeah,
it's that perfect corridor between you have all the business, fast-paced things moving out in Dallas and Fort Worth is. I mean, I want to say a whole lot different nowadays in modern times. It is different, but in the middle you have, it's just a very big spread out corridor, and there's all these people coming and going, from north, south, east, and west, and I've seen so many different people in Arlington and met so many different interesting folks.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Through here, it's very exciting.
With the musicianship, you got the busking, you've got open mics, and you could do like, I know Legal Draft does. They have people come out and perform there. They got Cartel Taco that does it too.
And it's also better,
Monkey.
not in COVID times too. Like
of course,
before we were getting into a lot of the music and art scene here, and there are a lot of places to play. COVID has kind of made that a lot harder. Although I think people are starting to get back to it, and adapting in ways that they can.
Right. I mean, Maverick's obviously still putting on shows and places like that.
I mean, the way my approach to it would be just like nowadays. Everyone's on their phones. Everyone's on social media, and if you could find any way to make it digital and
virtual,
make it virtual and make it an experience for people.
That too.
Because it can get the market. People can get like there's a lot of folks that are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And if you want to stand out and be unique, you got to find ways to do that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like I kind of like how I look at that. When I'm trying to make music, I'm like, what do I like about an album? What do I like about a song? What do I don't like about it? Same thing when I'm trying to present myself in the way to the audience. That's exactly the way I approach it. And I wouldn't do it unless I absolutely 100% am like, I would love to sit and watch this at home. This would be great.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, would I click this on Netflix or would I on Hulu or something like that? Yeah. I don't want to just see somebody's living room as their background.
Yeah.
Like, come on, do something else.
Right. And it's trial and error.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, you got to figure it all out.
A lot of times I'll tape something on my phone and like hear it in a room and be like, this room is great, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, this room is terrible. It just absorbs all the reverb and all that, so dead sounds.
So you kind of talked about the challenges we all did of 2020. So what are your goals for 2021?
I really want to release some singles and put out some music videos that are going to promote my album that came out. I have an EP that was released in September. And, with as crazy as things have been this past year, I was really trying to have it all done by this December, but everything has been pushed back, say like a couple months. Right. And I want to put out, at least one or two music videos that I have everything all laid out. It's more about finding dates and times when everyone can meet up. And I actually did get COVID at the beginning of the year, so it kind of put things back another like month or so. So I'm really easing back into things. And, trying to. I work at that on the line at nighttime, so my schedule is completely flipped. And I'm not trying to make excuses by any means, but I've learned to have patience with this whole thing. And that like I don't want to force anything out, but at the same time you have to give yourself deadlines. Like, you gotta have it done, and I want to have out those singles and then the music video, and also get back to playing shows, but not just acoustic shows. I want to have full band.
Cool.
Of course, I love instrumentation.
Of course.
I have a really close childhood friend of mine who plays guitar for me. Just he works at Lockheed and has a day job too, but he does this on the side.
Give him a shout out. What's his name?
Tony Sheck.
Okay, there you go.
And he's like my boy, so we get together and we can just text and figure times and things out. So between me and him, at the very least, I want to get back to playing with just a backup musician, and then I've been trying to find a drummer and a bassist and get everything fully fleshed out to put on a great experience for the audience. But lately, I've been working with Jerry over at Mavericks. Getting some acoustic shows opening for some acts on Fridays and Saturdays.
Well,
so
that's cool.
Yeah.
I was supposed to play last night, but it was kind of I didn't get back to his message until it was very last minute. But we're still going to work out some dates and times. I had to cancel on a show at the beginning of January, so we're going to get back to it again.
Hey, there you go. I mean, no time like the present.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have a segment on the show called the Tournament of Toppings. We are trying to find the best pizza place in Arlington. Do you have a favorite pizza place in Arlington?
I have a few.
Okay, good.
I'm a big pizza guy.
Hey,
cool,
good.
great. So are we.
I would say, so I live over in the Pantego area.
Okay.
Right next to Veterans Park in down Arkansas. There is Precipice.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great.
We've heard that place. It's on the list.
Yeah, it
for
is
sure.
on the list.
We
We've
haven't
not made
been,
it there
but
yet.
we've heard it's awesome.
It's fantastic. The owners are great. I do not know the guy's name, honestly, but I've been in there tons. Well, I'd say I've taken it out tons. I've been there a handful of times. But they're always really nice and kind. And over the pandemic, it got to where I was eating it at least once a week.
Sure.
And Precipice is great. They have plethora. I go with pepperoni jalapeno.
Okay. That's a
That's
good.
my daughter's favorite, actually.
Go to. Can't beat it.
Yeah.
I mean, stick with what you know. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
That and a little bit of ranch, you're good to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I would say Precipice, man. The other one was Old School. Was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's been years. Like I'd say, like 3 or 4 years since I've been over there
Oh.
to actually get there. So I don't know.
I had it last night. It's still good.
Yeah.
Is it still, okay,
It's
good.
still
So
good.
we're gonna have it
Good
for
deal.
lunch. So it's gonna
We
be
are going to have it
perfect.
for lunch, too.
It's gonna be amazing.
Third, I would say third. Okay.
Okay.
Mellow Mushroom.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mellow Mushroom's
good.
good,
Yeah.
but it's just a little. It's more gourmet. And it's more
Yeah.
for if you want to go out and like
It's-
have a
It's an experience thing,
Right.
sort of.
Right.
Yeah, I
For
would
the
agree with that.
atmosphere and things like
Because
that.
they do have it. I really like the atmosphere in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
It's really fun, and I went and saw the World Cup there. I don't really follow soccer,
Right.
but I was watching the World Cup because I was like, this is actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
I may have had a couple of beers too, so I
Yeah,
was really
they have a
into
good
it.
selection.
Having a great time.
Yeah.
I was having a great
Yeah,
time.
we used to do our recording at the library, so anytime we did lunch, I would walk over there, get lunch real fast, sit at the bar, have a couple of beers, and come right back. Good to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they have one over by TCU. So
That one's really cool.
That was the one I originally went
Yeah.
to all those years, and that's when I moved out here. I was like, sweet, y'all have a Mellow Mushroom, awesome.
It was like one of the first things that kind of opened downtown too,
Yeah.
to kind of start the downtown revitalization down there.
And it seems like they just put him in really cool college towns. Because I think the first one I ever had was in Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I saw that they had the Fort Worth one, and then the one in Arlington open. I was like, oh, I think they're just doing them here in college towns. I like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's the
wouldn't you?
best part. I mean, yeah, you really can get a good good feel for the town itself
Yeah.
and the vibes and things like that. And being new out here in Arlington, that's kind of where I went to UTA. I've actually been to lots of schools. Let me be real. But UTA was one along the list, and I mean, that's where I started when I came out here, like looking for places to branch out and find live music, find all that. So yeah, when you when you started in college towns, you'll find some of the best places.
Oh yeah, dive bars are the best place to play.
For sure.
So where can people follow you on social media and find your music?
Okay. So I have Spotify. I have music. My album is on Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming platforms.
Cool.
Nice.
You can get it online on iTunes. You can buy it. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I have a SoundCloud also. SoundCloud.com/BJ McLaughlin.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have physical copies of my CD available. I'm going to make an online store.
Oh, nice.
I should have added that to the list of things that are on the
horizon for 2021. Yeah.
To basically put all of my links in one area or
a
website that'll be, but that's still in the works. But for right now, it's just on the major social media platforms and then on the major streaming platforms.
Cool.
Perfect. Yeah, so I can't wait to hear your music, and then hopefully you can give us something so we can give it to the fans as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Do y'all want to hear something live? I don't know if y'all want anything.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
I have a guitar, man.
Oh,
I didn't know if
hell
y'all were.
Go get it.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I will be right back.
Yeah, we
Alright.
have like 15 minutes.
Yeah, we can fill time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brandon
Yeast.
Yeah. And I kind of grew up really close by there, so like I've taken that road a lot, especially going to school up there at TCU and things like that. But the songs, that's where I got the vision for the opening part of this song, and it's called Every Time. So I'll let you guys just hear it. I'm going downtown, 6th Street of my town. I'm burning highway I-35. The wheels are turning, my stomach is burning. Can't seem to get her off of my mind, but I killed the bottle tonight, and I killed my mind. I hit the road, letting go of all my hope, but I'm fine. I just lose my mind every time. Every time. Oh yeah. I avoid the mirror, but in my head I can hear the fading memories and things that she said. Well, I knew better, and I shouldn't ever control my feelings till the heart was dead. But I killed the bottle tonight, and I killed my mind. I hit the road, let go of all my hope, but I'm fine. I just lose my mind every time. Every time. Oh yeah. Well, I ain't worried about the law, and I ain't slowing down. Life is way too damn hard to just turn it around. Well, I got some miles behind me, and a few more to go. Well, I may have lost my mind tonight, but she'll never know. But I killed the bottle tonight, and I killed my mind. I hit the road, let go of all my hope, but I'm fine. I just lose my mind every time. Every time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for that was such a great song, and if you got the Mavericks, huh?
They love hearing originals.
Yeah, absolutely. You're ever out of Mavericks? Let me know. I'm like seriously 4 blocks that way.
Oh yeah,
So.
I can easily drive the Mavericks. I have no problem.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so much to our guests. We always appreciate it. Of course, Randy Bernard, the American Rodeo, which will be at AT&T Stadium from March 6th to 7th. And Brandon McLaughlin, thank you so much for talking with us. We appreciate it. We'd love to have you on again.
Yeah, he's playing Mavericks out and about. He's playing other places, so check him out, and obviously check him out on Spotify and I think SoundCloud, he said. Just everywhere.
Yeah. So send us a message if you need help, and don't forget to
make sure to go out and eat local, drink local, and
I want to just reiterate: go out and eat local, drink local, because they really need it. They were closed for like 5 to 6 to 7 days, depending on what it is. So just everyone go out and do that. I did it twice this weekend. Rodie does it all the time, but it's really important to help those guys get back on their feet. And while you do that, you can also go rediscover your city.
Tag us and send those pictures over to us on Facebook, Arlington Citizen Media, Twitter, ATX Citizen Media. Tag us on Instagram, Arlington Citizen Media, and send those pictures the old-fashioned way. Email arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com. Also go to our website, www.arlingtoncitizenmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give those 5-star reviews of the downtown at Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also hit us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.